Welcome back to another episode of Toxiris Discovers. Today we got 2 albums I found for myself and 5 suggested by the community. Before we get into the video, I just wanted to say that for the next 3 weeks or 3 Sundays, whatever you want to call it, I won't be making any Toxiris Discovers episodes just because I will be focusing on re-listening to all the albums I have heard this year, but I haven't heard enough because I'm working on my end of the year lists. Obviously, top 100 albums, top 100 songs, all that shit. And that takes up a lot of time I have for albums. So I won't have the time to make any Toxiris Discovers episodes. The next episode might drop either in 2 or 3 weeks or just in a new year. But we'll see. With that being said, y'all can still throw some recommendations under this one. I will just cover them a couple weeks late. Since we got that done, let's get into the first project, which is, as always, one I found for myself. In this case, Land, Air, Sea by Curren. And this is a 5-track EP. It dropped, I think, 2 weeks ago, and it's nothing special, honestly. I think if you want to listen to Curren, there are way better projects. I would recommend his projects with Harry Fraud or Freddie Gibbs. They are both, I mean, there's a project with Freddie Gibbs and Harry Fraud, but forget it. Anyway, I think this project is not great on anything. As always, Curren has great production, but on here the flow isn't really as good, and the hooks aren't either. So this is just pretty mid. I'd give it a 6.5 out of 10 because I still really enjoy the style Curren has, but for a Curren EP, it is really not as good. Then the second one I chose for myself is Lil Berete, Icebreaker 2. I really enjoyed the first Icebreaker, which I think dropped in 2018 or 2019, which had some of my favorite Lil Berete songs. Like, I really enjoyed Icebreaker 1, had a couple of my favorite Lil Berete songs like Dreams, Time Flies, and just great songs. And so I decided to listen to the second one, which dropped this year. I didn't even know. And it's great. I really enjoyed it. I don't think it is as good as the first one, but it still has very good songs on it. It's only 8 tracks long, and not really long tracks. But from these tracks, I think I've added 5 to my playlist, and those are really tracks where I'm like, yo, this is fucking great. As always, what you get for Lil Berete, great hooks, a great flow, and pretty good production. But other than that, it's nothing real deep lyrically, but not bad either. Now we get into the project that have been suggested by the community. First one being Back to the Future by BabyTron, suggested by Kieran Cartwright. This is thriller music. This type of music, when I hear this, I have somebody dancing on Thriller inside my head. I can imagine it. But outside of that context, it just doesn't sound good. The beats are standard and stale, but sometimes pretty good. But the flow is just, yeah, it's pretty fast, but it just sounds off to me, personally. I just don't like it. It's really nothing special to me. It's a 4 out of 10. Nothing, besides the beats, who sometimes are pretty good, there's just nothing where I'm like, yo, okay, this is good. 4 out of 10. Let's move on. Second project suggested by a viewer is Rich Dunk, The Real Deal, suggested by Zhao. And I've heard of Rich Dunk before. I think he had that one song that was uploaded to the baby's channel and went pretty viral. I didn't know he was melodic, and I didn't know he was good when he was melodic. I really enjoyed the couple melodic tracks on this project. It kind of feels like the baby's artists are only good when they are melodic and when they are not trying to be the baby. While the baby does not sound good when he's melodic most of the time. There are a couple. Rockstar is good. It's melodic, but fuck that. Well, what can I say? It's pretty much the same deal that we had with the baby artist last week. When he is melodic, I really enjoy the hooks. I really enjoy the flow. I enjoy everything. But when he isn't, which he is partially on this project, it's just not as good to me. So I'd give this a 6.5 out of 10 because it does have a couple tracks that are pretty good to me, but they can't carry the other tracks to a higher rating, personally. Lil Wayne, The Carter 2, suggested by Double M Entertainment. This project is, I don't have as much to say for this one either. It is solid. I think it's okay. I think Lil Wayne has better projects. I think it is the worst Carter project I've heard. Gotta say, I only heard the Carter 1, now the Carter 2, and the Carter 4. I haven't heard the Carter 3 and the Carter 5. But from these, it's probably the worst one. Still, it does have a couple very, very good songs. A couple very good hooks, actually. And a couple, it is still very good, but it has the same old features I've mentioned for Wayne's project forever. Just a couple songs that felt like fillers, way too long, 1 hour and 17 minutes, 22 tracks. If you don't have a very, very compelling album, that's just too long for me. Anyway, 7 out of 10. That's all I'm gonna give it. It's not bad, it's not great, but it's solid. Then we get to Quin NFN. Quincho was suggested by Fear Vibes. Always gotta hate on that name. This is the second time we had a Quin NFN project on here, and gotta say, he's not my favorite artist, but I can see why people really enjoy his music. I think this is a bit worse than his first project because I just don't enjoy him as much when he goes hard as when he goes melodic. I feel like I'm noticing a pattern here. I'm saying for all these artists, yeah, when they go hard they sound trash, but when they go melodic they sound good. He doesn't sound bad when he's melodic, don't get it twisted. He sounds really good, or pretty good, when he's hard. When he's pause. But when he's melodic, I just enjoy that way more. Anyway, there are a couple tracks on this project that I really enjoyed and that I added to my playlist, and that's what this music is for, in my opinion. It's music that you can bump in the day-to-day life and just enjoy it. And for that, it serves this purpose, so I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10 because I enjoyed it. The next and last project we have is Kodak Black, Heartbreak Kodak by The Real Deal. Now this one is special because I've never listened to this project. Obviously, it wouldn't be on here anyway before this episode. I've never listened to this project before this episode. Obviously, it wouldn't be on the video otherwise. But I've seen a CDTV video where he talks about this album and says it's one of the worst, I think, of 1 year or of what he's heard. He hates on this album anyway. And I enjoy it. I don't know. I feel like the hooks sometimes sound kind of weird, but that's just because it's Kodak. But for a Kodak album, I loved it. I didn't love it, but it had many songs where I'm like, I'm on the edge of bumping this every day. Like, I don't know why. Okay, I have no idea, but it was good. Like, I'd give this a 7 out of 10 overall, and that might not seem a lot. I mean, we had a couple projects in that field this episode already, but for a Kodak project, I'm really not the biggest Kodak fan. I really dislike his voice most of the time. But this is great. Like, great for a Kodak project. 7 out of 10. That being said, appreciate y'all for watching. Let me know what you thought about my opinions. Leave some recommendations. And have a great one.
Remember back then, all them hoes ain't want me. Now I'm ballin', all them same hoes on me. Mama told me that this came with the money and the motherfucking fame, even though I feel the same. I'm that nigga now. I'm that nigga now. I'm that nigga now. I'm that nigga now.